Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Houston right here at UHN-TV. And let me remind you that we have our app, and we also are on UHN-TV, and you can get it as well as just going to Roku and putting in Urban Houston Network, and we will come up. We ask that you will please follow us and keep continuously coming to UHN. We're the only Black history, we don't want to say Black history, but we are a Black station, and TV station that is, and we want you to please watch us. Now, it's been
a TV station.
Owned
by Blacks.
Owned by Blacks. Thank you, Doctor. That's a good one. That's easier to say it. It's easier.
News is not the black nor white. It's just news.
It's just news. We want to talk today in regards with you listening or in watching, regards to the pandemic. It seems as if this country is trying to forget about it, but it's not forgettable. It's still around. And I'm concerned, Dr. Mills, about the fact that our children are able to go back to school without having any masks on. That seems as if somebody's trying to kill our children. And especially in Houston Independent School District, I don't understand the knowledge nor the thoughts of the superintendent and the board that would even allow such a thing to happen. You're putting our children at risk. It's too much happening. Too many things are still out there and I don't want to say the air, but it's somewhere that it can be caught.
Well, it's an airborne virus.
Yeah.
No question about that. But I think that what we have done to a large degree because of the scientific understanding and knowledge that we have acquired over the past 2 years going through this is that we have been able to understand the transmission of the virus and the virus so that people can feel a little bit more secure, because people were getting a little bit antsy, being pent up, and not being able to move around and socialize and so forth. Mm-hmm. And it was having a psychological effect on some people. But we still know that it is a virus, and it's a dangerous virus.
True.
And people are still dying
from it.
Mm-hmm. And people who have immune system issues, if they catch it, they are suffering immensely from it. But part of the problem still is you still have a large percentage of people who will not get the vaccinations. And certainly they haven't gotten boosters. So that's part of what the problem is. You got no more than maybe 65 to maybe 70% of the American population fully vaccinated. And then so you don't know who's vaccinated and who's not.
So why not wear a mask?
That's right. Well, you and I are people who value life, so we marry. So we wear our masks. And I wear mine everywhere I go.
I value our children's life because they are our future, and somebody's got to carry on this country and this world, and our children are the ones that's going to do it, because we're not going to be here very long. As David said, our lives are very short, and so naturally we want those that's coming behind us to.
And David said in Psalms 127, I think, verse 3, lo, children are a heritage from God.
Yes.
So we know that's your heritage.
So we
But I
need
think
to
what
take
a
care
lot
of
of
them.
people are dealing with is that children and their immune system
That does
is
not mean
more,
a thing. That's
well,
true.
this is what they're dealing with,
And they
that,
shouldn't be dealing with it.
that children can fight off and resist uh, more so
But
than
it'll
older
work.
individuals, and then they don't want to restrict them to the point where it has a psychological effect on them in terms of their ability to socialize with their friends and all of that. But as we're saying, we know that parents need to be very, very wise and careful about how they instruct and allow their children to interact in society, because the virus hasn't gone anywhere.
That's my point.
We're finding
That
out.
is that's my
Yeah.
point, that it hasn't gone anywhere, and we need to protect our children as much as possible, because there is not a mandate for the children to be vaccinated. I know when before I went to school, I had about 4 or 5 vaccinations, and that one that you stick in your arm, for sure, I had that, and it was a requirement to have it. I have no idea why they're not requiring that our children who are going to school have a mandate that they have that shot for children. Not that it has to be volunteered by the parent. It was a mandate to save our lives, a mandate to save our future. So it was a mandate. So now, why not make it a mandate now, so the children can socialize, so they can enjoy one another, so they can go to places and not be worried about whether they're going to catch it or not. That's what I'm speaking of. Not necessarily having them wear the mask all the time, but the point of the matter is, why is it not so to the point that our children can be protected by a mandate?
Well,
That
I
all
think-
children need to be vaccinated when they are going to school. Before they get in school, they need to be vaccinated. And those that are in school be vaccinated. I still got the mark.
I think that eventually it might come to that.
It needs to be now.
I think
It needs
the
to be right
problem
now.
is
'Cause
there are individuals who psychically believe that this vaccination was rush. They came to
and
it.
it's going to hurt them sexually. Can't
well,
have no
I don't
children.
know.
I know. I've heard all of it.
You
I
know, I
can't.
don't know
You can't
about
have no
that.
children. This is a propaganda. You won't be
Yeah.
able to have children. That's the biggest one. You won't even be able to perform as a man, and all of those things. Those are the things that has been going out
So-
there in the air.
So we more oriented toward pleasure than life,
Exactly.
living.
Literally.
Because one thing we do know,
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
the-
If you're gonna keep
that
me from
people-
having, if it's gonna keep me from having sex, I'm sure not gonna take it. Yeah,
well, one
that's
thing-
one big thing. But
I haven't
yes,
heard that one.
yeah, I heard it many times.
But one thing I do know is this: I don't know, or I have not heard of a lot of people dying from taking the shot. But
But
I
we
know,
heard
I
and-
know
and
a lot
heard.
of people
Yes, we have
who didn't take the shot,
died.
who are dead, sleeping in their grave today. I
Yeah.
do know that, because I had.
That was a joke my
I
husband used to
had
tell
one-
me. Say,
I had one good friend, God bless his soul, Lorenzo Thompson. We worked together over at Texas Southern University, and he didn't take the shot.
"You gone?"
And he
He's
was out
gone.
at the dog track watching some dogs race. Bless his soul. And he caught it, and he's no longer here.
And he probably had his mask on too.
Yeah, but he hadn't gotten that shot.
Yeah, but he hadn't got the shot.
hadn't
So
got that
those things
shot.
are. It's.
And I got.
I
people
think
that
it's
I go-
neither here nor there that you
I
continuously.
attend church with. They were whatever. They wouldn't get the shot, and they did. So I know a whole bunch of people who did because they. But But I don't know nobody, not one person, that got that shot. And I know a lot of people that done got the shot. And they still walking around in good health. They're not crazy. They still doing whatever they want to do for pleasure or whatever. And they fine. So
I know.
that's a misnomer.
Yes, it's proof out there is in the pudding that people are dying from this thing, and you don't think that you are going to avoid it. You are just by saying I'm not going to take it.
Well,
you just don't know what's going to happen. No matter what you do, you can wear 4 or 5 masks. It's still a situation that you can come into and catch the stuff. So
Well,
why
I tell you
take the
one
chance?
thing,
Why take the chance?
It's a very powerful testimony that a lot of people who have caught the virus and survived it, and from their hospital beds, they telling their relatives and friends and everybody,
Go take your shot.
take the shot.
And those who are walking around now, I know of several young people who had it and they survived it, but a lot of their friends did not survive.
Yeah.
And that's the whole issue. You don't know what underlying conditions you have until it happens. So we walk around here walking, looking, feeling sometimes good. And then we don't know the underlying conditions that we have, and that's where you're taking a chance, taking a big chance with your life. And I'm saying to our young people, especially our youngsters, go get your shot. Don't take any chances with all this propaganda and everything else. Do not listen to people that really don't know what they're talking about.
Unwise counsel.
Unwise counsel. It says, walk not in the counsel of the ungodly.
Now sit in seat of going scornful.
Yes, sir. So you have to do all of those things and make sure that you are protected so that you can be a light to the world, a light in this world. And we asking that you do that, and we will make sure that we will be praying for you to make up your mind the right way, especially all of our children and young adults, especially because you are the ones that are going to take over this world or this country and lead it. So we don't want you gone because we might not get the ones that we're supposed to have. But I'm thinking about just keep this in mind. Don't listen to everything you hear and take it at heart. Please don't. Everything that you see,
listen, just don't heed.
Don't heed it. I said take it at heart.
Yeah.
A lot of people take things at heart and heed to it. Don't heed and take it at heart. Investigate if you need to. But most of all, don't go by everything you see, mostly. Because you can still be fooled. Magicians fool people every day. And media fools people every day. Because they never give you the whole, just the part. So you have to research yourself and not take anything for granted over these Facebook and Twitter and listening to more lies than truth. That's most important. Consider what about a lie, and consider about what is the truth. And the truth is always going to come out last.
Well, the one thing we do
Truth is
know,
going to come out last. A lie is going to carry really fast.
the most important question in life is who are you listening to?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you listen to that small voice that's within you,
And
you'll be
adhere
all
to it.
right. Because I just happened to think about the 2 thieves on the cross
That's the
with
truth.
Jesus.
One way to write it.
Now, one thief looked at Jesus and said, if you say you are who you are, then get yourself down
And save us too.
and save me too.
Yeah.
And the other thief
Analyze.
looked at Jesus.
Yes.
And looked at the thief, and he said, you up here, because you guilty
And I'm up here too.
of everything they accuse you of, and some things they didn't know about.
Same. He said the
And
same about
I'm
himself.
up here for the same reason. I'm guilty.
Yes.
But this man, he's guilty of nothing.
True.
He has done nothing that they have accused him of. He ain't done none of it.
To be killed. Exactly.
So he said to Jesus, Lord, when you come into your kingdom, remember me.
Remember me.
Remember me.
And
Jesus
instantly,
said to him,
instantly.
this day. Not tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Not
Yes, sir.
someday later on, but this day, you're going to be in paradise with me. So the question still is, who you listening to? And there are a lot of people in this world,
Yes, sir.
they listening to the voices of the world rather than that small, still voice inside of you. Because God is not going to leave nobody in this world as a fool. Because God doesn't create food.
No, he doesn't.
We make ourselves food.
Yes, he.
Now,
Now you tell the truth about that. We make ourselves because we walk in the counsel of the ungodly.
ungodly. And sit in the seat of the scornful.
Yes, and so when you make those type of people, have those type of people, or are around those type of people, you become like them,
Right.
and you
Because
got
you
to.
want to be accepted by
Yeah,
them.
you don't need to be accepted by nobody but the Lord,
Yeah.
and that's who you need to be accepted by.
Well, you
And,
first need to learn how to accept yourself as
Yeah.
you are.
Who
'Cause
you
see,
are.
Yeah.
'Cause you're
if you
somebody.
can accept yourself
Yes, you are somebody.
as you are, then you can know whose you belong to.
That's true.
And
Yes.
that's what the problem is with most people. We keep trying to define ourselves externally rather than defining ourselves internally. And unfortunately, too many of our young people that's growing up today, they define themselves externally by their friends, by the clothes they wear, the car they drive, or this or that, and so forth.
That's true.
And and once you define yourself externally, see, you will involve yourself in external living because your value system is
Materialistic.
external.
Yeah,
It's not
your,
internal.
your value system become more materialistic
That's right.
than
Everything
anything
you
else.
value is
Yeah.
on the outside of you, rather than on the. And that's what's wrong with us as a race of people today.
Materialistic.
Prior to 1964 and 65, when the white folk had the signs up, white only, they forced you, as a black person,
Yes.
to live inwardly. You live from the inside
Side out.
because you couldn't live on the outside.
No, you got
Because
to
you
jump.
knew
If
that
you
the
got to
outside
jump off the.
constrained you and it
Yeah,
was against you.
yes.
So you had to live from the inside. As soon as them white folk took them signs down,
We to start acting just like them.
we ended
Yeah,
up.
believe me. Actually the black man and the black woman started acting more like them than they should have been acting.
And
materialistically.
consequently, we end up hating ourselves.
Exactly. Now that's the truth.
We
We end up hating each other.
because
and-
whites hate us.
Yes, and that
Well, we see it right now. All you
we
got to
shoot
do
each
is-
other in a minute.
Well, we know
kill each
that,
other in a
black
minute.
on crime is the most immoral thing going on in America.
Why are we killing
Another
one
black
another?
person kill another black person.
Kill
'Cause,
another, and they do it on our young people. Do it on Facebook. They have duels on Facebook
yeah.
and fighting, and other people that are on there, whatever you call it, they're looking at them fighting. They making. Why would you want to make a
Video.
time for us to meet to fight?
Yeah.
For us to meet and kill one another. That does not make any sense. Over nonsense. Nonsense. Boyfriend. That's nonsense. Girlfriend. That's nonsense. Girlfriend. That's nonsense.
Boyfriend.
Yes, sir. That's nonsense.
Confusion on top of confusion.
Exactly. Why would you want to do that just because somebody threatened you and you want to prove to somebody else that you are not a coward or whatever it is? Think about your future.
You want to prove that you crazy.
Yeah. Think about your future and don't be a crazy person. Don't think crazily. Don't think about what people think of you. Think about what you think about yourself. That's what is important. How well do you set yourself in set?
Well,
way?
it's one thing we do know is if you got your head screwed on right, you concerned about what God says about you and not what others say.
Well, that's the whole
you.
issue, Doc, is that
We're
we're falling.
Yeah,
We're falling and falling rapidly away from God. The black race as a whole is falling rapidly away from God. You ask a young person now,
we're becoming like the oppressor, huh?
Yeah, do you know God? And they look at you like a fool. Like, who? What you talking about? Why are you questioning me about something that I don't know nothing of? I don't think he exists, and so don't tell me that he does exist. I don't want to know about his existence. That's the way they are right now. Of course, we know that, but the falling away is it has to do with you neither here nor there. Has to do with the way you think. If you think that you're not going to die, like the boy, the thief that was on the cross, he was interested in living. He was interested in getting his own selfish gain. Like the other thief, of course, he believed, he saw, he reasoned. And that's what's going on now. We are not believing and we are not reasoning at all about who God is in their lives. They think they're their own little gods and that there is no death concerning death. It's just, I leave from this body and that's it. I beg to differ, and I do differ, and I want you all to understand it is a different way of life. It's a different way of life, and it's going to be altogether different, and you don't want to miss out on it. And I tell you that.
I tell you what, they will find out your body is going to die, but there's a part of you
that
will never die. And that part of you that will never die is either going to end up in heaven or hell. And if you don't believe me, there was a rich man
that
who wouldn't even allow
yes, sir.
poor man
tell us about it
to get the crumbs from his table. And this poor man, Lazarus, died. And that part of him that can't die, your soul, it went on to heaven.
Yes, it did.
The rich man died, and that part of him that can't die, it went to hell. And he raised his eyes up, and he asked God, said, God, can I go back and tell my brothers that hell is real? And God told him, say, no.
You got enough
They'll
people.
find out for themselves.
And there's enough of them out there to hear him. Yeah. I got prophets. That's what God told him. Yeah. I got prophets. I have
Preachers, teachers,
teachers, priests to tell you.
that tell you.
And if they don't listen and don't hear, then that's not my fault and it's not yours neither.
Right.
But your fault is that you didn't listen.
Right.
See, that's the whole issue, that we don't listen.
Right.
And we don't adhere to where we are supposed to be, because Lazarus even saw the man that treated him bad.
Yeah.
And the man saw him.
Yeah.
Even though there was a gulf between them, they could see each other.
Yeah.
And he said, Father Abraham, let Lazarus just dip his finger in the water.
Yeah.
You know, it's a many times,
Cool
my tongue, because I'm tormented in the flame. Now, it's a many time that we forget what God has given us and what he has in store for us. And when we forget what he has in store for us and what he has given us, we kind of not balance it. And it has to be balanced, and it has to be outweighed. That's what the thief did on the cross, that said, Master, when you come in your kingdom, remember me. He balanced the thing, and he weighed it. He saw the things that Christ had done. He was around. He just didn't do what he was supposed to have done, is to follow him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't around. He was around there, and he saw the good that Christ was doing and what he had done, and he weighed everything out and said, Master, when you come in your kingdom, I want to be there. Remember me. And instantly, all his sins had been forgiven. Yeah. Can you imagine that our sins can be forgiven just by asking? Just by asking. And no matter what a pandemic it is, no matter what comes, what may, if you know God, you got it all. You got a good thing going for you. You got a good thing going for you when you know him. And you know his son that he sent to die for us all.
And if you don't know God and don't know that 1619 operates all around the world,
yes,
all you have to do is look at what's going on between Russia and Ukraine,
and how those people
and
are fighting.
all of the immigrants, black and white, who are trying to flee Ukraine to Poland. And when the Africans get to the border at Poland,
they turn them around.
They said there is no room.
Yeah. In the end.
In the end.
No room in the end.
No room.
In the end.
In the end.
So, yeah, and they don't know.
Because even in untold suffering, we can heap suffering on one another.
Yes, we can.
And we all in the same boat.
Yeah, same.
Now, all of them people going to that
same
border.
Same blood. We all have the same blood. Might not be the same color, but we got the same blood. And we have to realize we come from one. And he is our creator.
And we have to realize that death and life is in the tongue.
Yes. And you want to live.
And people need to be very, very careful of what they say to one another.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, too many of us who are black, we neglect to recall to ourselves from time to time, be careful what you say. Be careful what you say.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And that's sure enough the truth, is to be careful what you say, because you can't take it back, but you can ask for forgiveness. However, you can ask for forgiveness. But if you leave without asking, or you don't come back and ask, because you can't, it's just not right to just put people down and feel good about yourself.
Well,
that's something wrong there.
It's almost like the 10 people that Jesus healed, and one came back and said, "Thank you, Lord." Now Jesus asked the question, "Where are the other 9? Where are the other 9? And then you also have to remember now, Jesus healed a blind man, spat in some dirt, rolled it around, and put it on the blind man's eyes. And Jesus walked with him and fellowship with him for a while. He just didn't let him see right away. He walked with him and fellowship with him. And once they got outside of the city, Jesus told him to turn around and look back and tell me what you see. And the blind man could see, and he turned around, and he had been blind, and he looked back, and he said, I see
Men.
dead men. No, not just men.
Dead men looking like trees.
Yeah, I see dead men looking like trees. And that's what we got going on in 21st century America and what we got going on in Russia right now. You got dead men
Looking like trees.
looking like trees. Because Putin is a dead man.
Looking like a tree.
And he doesn't even know that he's dead. He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead
He's
right
definitely
now.
dead. It's
Because they got all of his money tied
got everything tied up.
got all of his wealth and everything tied up, and he can't go nowhere because when the people in the country in Russia find out what he has done,
They're gonna be
his life
fussing.
ain't even worth a plug nickel.
He's going to be fussing. I know they are fussing right now. Because
Oh, yeah.
I even saw on, I think it was YouTube that I saw this, that when one of the fighters for Russia were captured, he said he didn't even know why he was there.
Yeah.
He said, I don't even know what I'm
he
here for.
turned himself in.
He turned himself.
Yeah.
And the
He asked the
Ukrainian
people to forgive him.
then and asked for forgiveness, and they fed him, gave him the phone so he could call his mama.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tell his mama.
tell his
"Hey,
mama
look
I'm all
here."
right. I'm doing okay.
So we've been lied to.
Yeah, we've been lied to and
We've been
everything else.
bamboozled. We've been tricked.
I know, but y'all don't get tricked. Don't be bamboozled. I want you to understand that God loves you and He wants to see the good for you, and He got a better thing for us in the future. If it's not right now, you just stay tight and be patient.
And go to church Sunday.
And go to church Sunday and know more about God and His ways and His actions. And you'll see the best thing is to do is to be with Him. You take care. We got to go. Love you. God loves you. And keep your paper in your car. Let's keep Houston clean. God bless.